Welcome to Home Buying 101 Season 2. Woo! So, with me today is Iris Beas from EXP.
Not you just throwing it out there like that.
I mean, you haven't announced it, so I'm going to announce it for you. People, she's moved to EXP.
Yes. And you know what's funny about that? My husband worked at Sanderson Ford for 16 years. Mm-hmm. And the day that I decided to make the move, he said, I've been a realtor for 1 year, and you made me change companies 3 times already. And I was like, you're right. My bad.
No one's going to trust him because he's moved too much.
I know. Your first year, you moved 3 times. Why?
But he's killing it. He's killing it in sales, so why not?
Yes. Yes, he is.
So, Iris, tell us who you are. Who is Iris Beas?
I'm struggling over here. Who is Iris Beas? I am a mom, a wife, a realtor, a chismosa.
Realty Chisme. It's her podcast. Check it out.
Realty Chisme. Yes. Link in the bio. No, you don't have a bio. Link. What is
Link
it?
below.
Link below. This is a promotional.
Podcast?
A promotional podcast. So yes, I'm a mom of 4. We have our team now, Beas Homes Group. We just moved to EXP. Excited for the new adventure.
Okay. So tell me, how did you get into real estate?
So fun fact, I lived in a manufactured home. And I'll have to say manufactured home because to me it's a traila, but I feel like people take offense to that. So vivía en un trailer park. And when we became homeowners with our first house, that was in 2017. And just like that feeling of, as stupid as it sounds, have you ever lived in a manufactured home?
No.
Okay, so cuando vives en una... Can I speak Spanish?
You can do Spanglish.
Ah, okay. Cuando vives en una traila, like, you can hear everything. You can hear the neighbors, you can hear the rain, like, everything. So when we bought our first house, to me, it was a mansion. Like, you go from a small little trailita to a house.
How big was the trailer?
I don't know because I didn't know anything about square footage back in the day. I didn't care for it, but it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, So it was a small one. It was a double wide, but it was still on the small side. When we moved to the house, our first house in Buckeye, that was 4,200 square feet.
That's huge.
That's huge. 7-bedroom house. So I was like, from a pobrecita to a bad bitch. I'm just kidding. I always wanted to say that. But for me...
Okay, say that on your podcast, not mine. Gosh.
Sorry.
Now I got to put adult content on YouTube.
Sorry. We can delete that. But moving from the little trailer to a house, just that feeling of like it rains and you don't hear it. You don't hear the neighbor. Like you don't hear the kids playing outside. I don't know. It was just a different feeling. And I was like, I want to help people accomplish home ownership. I want to help people feel this way. And that's why, most of our clienteles are Hispanics because they're my hard-headed clients that think that where they're at is where they have to be and stay. And it's like, no, you can become a homeowner and you can own something.
So that's what got you into real estate. So tell me about your real estate career so far. How long have you been a realtor?
March will be 3 years already. So I've been doing this for 3 years. And I got into real estate, I think at a good time. It was during COVID, like getting out of COVID situation. So market was hot, interest rates were low. So that helped me build my clientele.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you retired your husband.
I retired him from a 7 to 4 to a 24/7.
Tell us about that. Tell us the story on that. I've heard it before, but of course, tell our viewers.
Yeah. Once again, I started at 2021 was my first year, and I started to pick up. But obviously 2022 happened and kind of things went down the drain. And I think it was like that for a lot of newer agents, right? You were used to like getting everything handed to you, and then normal interest rates hit the market normalized. And it was like, you got to work. You got to put in the work to be able to get clients, So I did just that. 2022 kept working. And fun fact, I talked about it on my podcast. I almost quit real estate in August of 2022. Yeah. August of 2022, I almost gave up real estate, but I kept pushing. I kept pushing, and I know that this is what God wanted me to do, and kept pushing. And then one of my videos went viral on TikTok. Tu AZ Real. Ay, otra vez.
Plug it. Plug it.
Link below. And one of my videos went viral on TikTok, and business bloomed. And I looked into hiring help. I had a good mentor telling me, like, you need to get help. If not, you're not going to be able to keep up with what you're getting and stuff, or you're going to be losing business. So I thought about it. I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, kind of did the math, right? And I was like, well, why don't I just hire my husband and not pay him and keep all the money for me? And we did just that. He's always believed in me, and he trusted that I was going to get him his dream truck one day. So, yeah, he has always trusted me. So I told him, I was like, hey, why don't you just quit your job and help me? And, I mean, you know him. We're complete opposites. And it was definitely hard for him, but he's loosening up. He's loosening it up.
One day we'll have a full conversation. Alfredo is a man of little words.
Yes. Did you see his well, you're at the quinceañera, the speech of the
His
year.
speech, thank you for coming.
Yep.
And then he passed the mic.
Yep. I do a whole, I don't know how many minutes I did my speech, give him the mic, and he says, thank you for coming. And
man of little words.
yes. But it was pretty funny. And everybody focused on that and not what I said, but that's fine. We're not here to judge.
Hey, he kept it short and to the point. He kept it short to the point.
Yes.
He got us in and out.
Literally.
So you mentioned your TikTok. So you do awesome videos on TikTok, just doing home tours. So how has that helped your business?
I mean, we grew from 2022. We tripled our business in 2023, and it has been going very well. It's obviously comes down to consistency, and I've always said, like, being yourself, on social media always helps. What my clients see on social media, it's exactly what they get in person. Sometimes a little bit worse, but todo bien, no pasa nada.
Todo bien, no pasa nada. That's trademarked by her, by the way.
Sí, todo bien, no pasa nada. Don't come for me. You will get sued.
So it's awesome. And I will tell you, this is more for my viewers, is we're doing season 2 mainly because, like, you have the same setup as I do, this Roadcaster, which is awesome. I didn't know how to use it when I first started the podcast.
Well, thanks to you, I was able to get all this stuff. You sent me links and I added to the cart.
There you go. But I will tell you this. One of the cameras hooked up to this to get the audio. I wasn't hooking it up correctly. So when we were recording the first 10 episodes, I wasn't connecting it correctly, where it was getting the audio from the actual camera instead of the mics.
Oh.
So you just hear it very far and very muffled, where after I figured it out, I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to do a season 2. And it's fun because every year, I mean, even if I do a buyer's consultation episode every season, market's always changing. Stuff's always changing. Everyone's got a different perspective of how they conduct a buyer's consultation, or how they pre-qual clients, or how they do certain steps in the real estate process. So It's fine that I can do that, but it's just funny because halfway through the season, I think I did 26 episodes last year. So pretty much even though I did them all back to back to back, and I stopped midway through the year just because stuff got busy with the office. When I got my little summary from our Buzzsprout service we use, it pretty much said, you did 26 episodes, so it averages out to one pretty much every other week. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Even though I did it back to back for the first half of the year, it averages out to pretty much bi-weekly. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. But
you're like, well, we're doing 26 episodes in 2024.
I'm going to do 27 just to do one.
Yes,
one
you
more.
always have to be better than your previous year. So this is season 2, episode 1?
Yes.
Ooh,
Buyer's
what
consultation.
an honor. And you're right about what you said. Everybody works different. Not everybody, if you go to 3-4 different realtors, you're gonna get a different experience. Yeah, you're gonna get a different experience. Everybody does things different.
So it bothered me the whole maybe half the year. I was like, I need to re-record these 10 episodes, and I honestly sat there and thought, should I just have the first 10 people that I invited in just come re-record. And I was like, no, you know what? The audio is decent enough that it can stay up. But what I'm going to do is season 2, I already know I'm going to redo I'm going to redo pretty much all the episodes again just to get a different perspective, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I know the audio's going to be crisp this time and it's going to be clear. And then now I've got that second camera that's going to help me a lot with the reel. So it's an evolving process just like anything else, which is awesome.
Yep.
So before we kind of get into the whole buyer's consultation, let's talk about what does the market look like today?
The market, I have it written down all by myself. As of January 23rd, 10:45 a.m., we currently have 15,568. I said that wrong, huh? 15,568. See, when you're paisa, like, it's hard. And you know what's, sorry, off topic, but you know what's hard? Like, no sé decirlo en inglés, and then I have to do it in Spanish, and I don't know how to say it in Spanish. I did a house tour, and the price was $995K. I couldn't say that in Spanish for the life of me. I had to redo that.
$995,000?
Yeah, I had to redo that like 4 or 5
No,
times.
the worst part is when you can't think of the word in English or in Spanish.
Yeah, and you're like, no soy ni de aquí ni de allá. But as of January 23rd, 10:45 a.m., we currently have 15,568 active listings. We have 705 coming soon, with mine being one of the 705.
Self-plug.
We have 7,099 pending. And days on the market right now is 62 days. So you are seeing the houses sit on the market a little bit longer. But I have to admit, we're 3 weeks in? January? It's picking up.
Have you made any offers in these last 3 weeks?
Offers? Yeah, we were going to make one, but the agent came back. The house was on the market for like 2 days. And the agent came back and said that they had already 5 offers.
And that's what I was going to ask, because I've seen a couple other people that are in our circle that they've posted like just screenshots of their text conversations with other agents. And so it's like, hey, have you gotten any offers on this house? And one of them came back, I already have 14 offers.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's these 3 weeks. Like I always tell my clients when they call me for a buyer consultation or to ask questions, I'm like, I'm telling you right now for the market right now. I can't talk for next month.
Of course.
Because things change. Like I have a listing that's been sitting on the market for, I believe, over a little bit of 90 days. We went under contract. We went active September, and it's still sitting, right? But I just put a house on the market the first week of January, and I'm already getting offers. So it's picking up for sure.
Of course. What's median sales price and sold price right now?
The median sale price is $488, and the median sold price, the sale price was $488, and then sold price you're looking at $430.
Okay. So I will tell you this. I did look at the numbers last year around this time for those numbers since I did that in the first season. And everything's about the same. The only thing is maybe the sold price, I think, was maybe $10,000 above. And then active was about 1,000 more. So right now we're at 15,500 and we're like 16,000 last year.
Yeah.
Around this time. So, I mean, the market hasn't changed too much. And then days on markets, I think only like 2 day difference. Like last year around this time, it was 64 instead of 60.
And it's always slower during holidays. Everybody's worried about holidays, traveling, family. And then January comes, it's like, okay, let's clean the house. What are we going to do? Are we going to sell? Are we going to buy? What's going to happen?
Of course. So, Iris, the reason I wanted to bring you on here is I want to talk to you about buyer's consultation. So what is a buyer's consultation and why is it important for our buyers?
Buyer's consultation. So everybody does things differently. Okay. So a buyer's consultation is kind of an appointment for the client to get in. Stop looking at the clock. You're going to stress me out. Sorry. It's for the client to get information. Stop. Are you sure you want me on your podcast?
Yes.
It's going to be an hour and 30 minutes. What's the question again? I'm just kidding. You're going to have a lot of editing to do.
It's fine. I probably won't edit any of it and just leave all of it on the...
You're going to be like, she's never coming to the podcast again.
The first 10 minutes was just me talking, so I might just leave that on there.
That's true. Buyer's consultation. Back to your question. Sorry about it. Buyer's consultation. Everybody does it different, and everybody explains everything different. The way I like to do things is explain everything. From the moment they called me, send me that message on social media, send me that email, till the moment that they're going to get their keys. I go over absolutely everything of what to expect. And obviously, it's a lot of information. But I always tell my clients, like, this is just a, hey, heads up, this is what's going to be happening these next 30, 45 days. And then we'll remind you again as we continue to go through the process, right? So it is very important for everybody to do a buyer's consultation, to inform the client of what to expect, for the client to ask any questions they may have, because when you're a first-time home buyer, like, you don't know anything. I mean,
You're pretty much drinking from a fire hose. Like, it's just so much information.
¿Qué es eso? Estos dichos en inglés no me los sé. Can you say that in Spanish, please?
Estás tomando de la manguera. Que te está saliendo mucha agua.
No, you see how sometimes
información.
doesn't make sense and stuff in English and Spanish. Sorry.
Information overload.
See?
That's what it is.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Let's say a potential home buyer is coming to this consultation. Is there anything they should bring for this consultation? It should just come in with an open mind and kind of let you lead the conversation.
Yes, so definitely come in with an open mind and just be aware that we're going to throw a lot of information at you. But once again, you are on social media. I have a lot of clients that are on social media, and everybody says things differently and they get scared, right? So it's like, or they watch the news. And I learned that what's on Google is not true, because last time I Googled something, it said I was dying, and I'm still here. So what's on the internet is false.
You're a survivor.
Yeah. I survived a cold when Google said I was going to die.
So let me ask you this. Since you brought up people seeing your videos on TikTok and stuff, how many people do you actually get that say, hey, that actually reach out and say, I like the house you just put up there. I want to go see that one.
Oh, so I actually do have a good story on that one. I posted a house tour in Phoenix. I was gonna sit here and say the address, but I don't even remember the address. But I posted a house tour in Phoenix, and the next day somebody called us and said, "Hey, I saw your video. We would like to see it." And I was like, "When would you like to see it?" He was like, "Well, now." I was like, "Let's do it." Turn back around, and it's just so much easier when the house is vacant, because you can schedule at any time versus when it's owner occupied, which we do need to talk about that, because clients. I have another story that clients want. Anyways, cut. I'm just kidding. So the client calls me, wants to go see the house, and we go see it, turn back around. We go see the house, and they love it. It works perfect for their family near the kids' school. They didn't want to change the kids' school, so it was just the perfect house for them. Yeah, it was meant to be. So, yeah, we submitted an offer that night, and we went under contract the next day. So, within 3 days, posted the video. Next day, they saw it. Next day, we're under contract on that property.
That's the power of social media. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what are primary goals that you and the buyer should have in that initial buyer's consultation?
The biggest thing would be budget, right? Because we can sit here and look at houses all day long. Like, I love looking at houses. Like, why not, But the biggest thing is going to be budget. Like, what's your budget? What monthly payment are you comfortable with? Tampoco we don't want to, like, max it out where you're going to be paycheck to paycheck just to pay that mortgage. So, for sure, setting up a budget and wants and needs.
So what should come first, the pre-qual or the buyer's consultation?
So the way I do things is usually if the person wants to do an in-person appointment, we're going to go over everything that moment. The only thing that I don't show that day is obviously houses, because we don't know their budget, and then the paperwork. I like to go over everything of what I'm going to be sending them once they're ready to submit an offer. I show them all those documents. That way, by the time we're ready to submit offers, bless you.
I hate you. It was like coming. I was like, I hate when people do that.
You're welcome.
So continue before you interrupted my sneeze.
Sorry. So I like to show them all the documents. That way, by the time we're ready to submit offers, I send them all those documents for them to sign electronically, and they already know what they're signing. They already know what to look for in those documents. So those are the things I don't go over if we're doing. They want to see me in person. They don't want to ask me anything over the phone. But now let's just say they call me and they're like, we want to talk to a lender already. We send them over to the lender to get the pre-qualification. Once the lender says, hey, this buyer is ready to go, Then we meet. We go over the buying process. The same thing. Same thing. Oh my God, I'm so Mexican.
So how many of your buyer's consultation are in person compared to just over the phone before you even do the pre-qual?
You know, it just depends on the client, because there's people that, you know, you have to meet in person because they want to do an in-person appointment. They want to know who they're working with, especially being a TikTok celebrity and all. They want to know that they're talking to me. I'm just kidding.
They want to know you're real.
It's funny. No, I had a client call me, and I was answering all his questions, and then he was like, it just feels so weird. He's like, because you're like TikTok famous and then you're talking to me. And I was laughing. I was like, well, thank you for that. I'm just a normal person doing house tours. That's it.
How often do you get recognized?
It has happened to me a couple of times, and I have to admit, it feels cool. I'm like, Mom, I made it.
So let me ask you, what questions do you ask to the home buyer consultation to ensure that your work, like, what should someone ask you to ensure that they're working with the correct or the right realtor?
I think the main thing, and nothing against agents that are working real estate part-time, but I think that's a huge question to ask whoever it is that you're working with. You know, you're doing real estate full-time or part-time, because if a house becomes available and the client wants to go see it, but, you know, the realtor is working, then by the time they go see it, the house is under contract. Like, things like that can happen. Wait, am I being mean?
No, but, I mean, you're just being honest.
Okay.
We'll cut that out.
Thanks. So I was like, I feel like I'm being mean. I feel like I'm being racist against part-time realtors.
No, I mean, you're right. It's sometimes in this market, especially if it starts to pick up again like it did in COVID years, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to jump on those houses. If a house jumps on the market, you have to jump on it.
Okay, ask me again.
What questions should a home buyer ask a realtor to ensure that the right realtor for them?
How many kids do they have? I'm just kidding. Hey, fun fact. I went to a listing appointment, and my client was telling me that she was working with an agent, and the agent kept bringing the kids to the showings. She was like, and the kids would be running around. She's like, and I couldn't focus on like seeing the house for myself and visualizing myself in the house because the kids were like, shh. But I'm kidding, because I have 4 kids.
But you don't bring them along.
Sometimes, because my mom be like, oh, voy a hacer esto, voy a hacer lo otro, and I'm like, I have a showing. But now that I have a husband, I don't got to worry about that.
Well, tell us about your experience, last week that you don't even remember how to do showings?
Oh my God, that's funny. I'm kidding. I know how to do showings. It's all about content. I'm just kidding. No, but you know what? It really did happen to me, because I don't know if you're aware, but we don't have showing time no more.
I heard that you guys switched over to something else.
A line, and yo acá bien mandona, like boss babe. I was going to say boss, but then I'll get in trouble. I told my husband, I was like, hey, do that training, because you're the one that does the showings, and I was actually busy. Like, do that training so you can learn how to use the system. Well, he did, and he mastered it, right? Did I do it? No, I didn't. So then here goes Iris to do showings, and my client wants to go see more houses. I pull out my laptop, and I'm trying to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I was so annoyed, because I get so frustrated, like when I don't like change. So when something like that happens and you're put in that spot, like
that position.
Yeah, like, hey, you need to schedule these showings, and the client's freaking staring at you, and you're like, oh my God. So yeah, that was annoying.
So find an agent that knows how to use the new.
Find an agent. What questions to ask? Do they know how to use the system?
Because Iris apparently didn't do the training.
Because I don't, but my husband does. So that's the good thing about working with an agent that has a team or has a husband, because if I'm not available, he is. If I don't know how to do something, he does. If he doesn't know how to do something, I do. So
there you go. So what questions should a buyer ask you, or what questions are you asking, just to ensure that you're both kind of on the same page?
Oh yeah, because we were playing around, huh?
It
was all a joke, you guys. For those who don't know me, I joke a lot, because they're gonna be like, "Ay, esta payasa," you know. I'm not a payasa. And if I was, I'll be on the buses like. Am I getting kicked out yet?
No, not yet. We're like 20 minutes in from you getting kicked out. We'll see. We'll see the next one.
Okay.
So what questions should both of you have to make sure that both of you are on the same page when it comes to a buyer's consultation?
So I think like the main thing when it comes to the buyers is what is it that they expect from the realtor, right? And ask those questions, whatever it could be, right? Hey, my job, I'm only off at this time. Like, are you going to be available at that time? I've had clients that get off at 7 o'clock at night and the last showing is at 8 o'clock. And it's like, you make things work. But I think questions like that of what are your expectations? What do you expect from me, right? My job here is to guide you and help you and answer any questions that you may have and become available to you. So what was the question again? I'm just kidding.
And watching your social media, I know that you guys are always out there driving around doing showings and doing stuff. What has been your latest showing and latest signing, and what's been your earliest showing and earliest signing?
So, fun fact, the super boxes, how do you say, like, they're activated at 8 in the morning. So you can't do anything before earlier. Unless it's like a mechanical lockbox and the agent agrees or whatever, but it's always like kind of 8 to 8. Okay. That's unless, once again, the seller's going to let you in. But my husband's latest show, I'm just kidding. Babe. Latest showings, I would say I think we did a 745. Once again, because of that lockbox. Like, if they only have that super lockbox, unfortunately, there's nothing the agent can do
What about signing?
Latest signing has been 11 p.m.
Okay.
Because of my client's schedule, work schedule.
What about earliest?
Earliest signing, 6 a.m. because we needed to get the keys. Well, we don't need to, right? So we wanted to get the keys that same day. So my client signed at 6 a.m. So as soon as title opened, they had all the documents, and then we're
and that's the advantage of working with someone that is full time, is that you can work your schedule around that. Because I know, like you said, you have to be available when your client's available, not when you're available.
You know what? I just lied to you, and you didn't catch it. You said latest. Oh, but that was showing. Remember, I did a video on us delivering keys at midnight.
Okay, that's signing.
I just remember that.
So that's what I'm saying. You have to be able to work around your client schedule.
Yep.
And that's the cool thing is, like, right now that we have like these mobile notaries too. Like, I've been to a signing with one of our realtor friends that she didn't want to go by herself, so she asked me if I could tag along. I think we're doing the signing at like 10:30 o'clock at night. And the best part was I knew the mobile notary. He was one of my friends. So I was like, hey.
So it turned into a chisme appointment instead of a signing appointment.
Basically. But hey, they got their keys. They got their keys out, or they got their signing done.
Yeah.
And I'll say this on the air. I actually saved that signing.
How?
The client didn't have a valid ID, so they needed a witness.
Oh,
so I was the witness.
That's funny. That's funny. And you know what?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Straight into the camera. If you're watching this, you're welcome. Well,
so if you need someone to be your witness, I got you.
Well, it goes back to the buyer's consultation. Well, once again, how I do things. I don't like to talk for others. This is how I do things, explaining everything. So I'm very good at learning from my mistakes. Obviously, 2 years, or when you're 2 years, well, even 3, even 5, 6, 7, 8 years into real estate, like, you're going to make mistakes. Like, nobody's perfect, right? But I learn. I'm a fast learner. Was it Telemundo? If you want to contact me, I will learn the weather today.
Today.
But I'm a good learner, and I always learn from my mistakes, and I always fix them right away. So when you said that about the ID, that happened to me. I would never let the client know, like, whoa, all you need to bring is your ID, and it cannot be expired. Like, I would never say that, right? And nobody really says that, because to us, unfortunately, it's common sense, but to them, it's like, well, it has my picture, it has my address, it has my information, like, we're good to go, right? But it has to be valid.
And it's not like you're asking them for ID at buyer consultation. Like, oh,
exactly.
Can I see your ID? You don't.
Yeah.
You as the realtor don't need their ID. Of course.
Yeah.
The lender and title needs it, but you as the realtor.
Yeah.
They could have a Arizona driver's license, Chicago. I mean, in Illinois,
Texas,
California, Texas. You don't know. You don't care.
Exactly. So that happened to me one time. Well, I'm not going to say one time because maybe it happened a couple of times, but I don't remember. But that's added on my buyer consultation. Your ID cannot be expired. And then there has been plenty of times where they're like, oh, mine just expired. And I'm like, okay, well, you have time.
You have 30 days, Tim.
Yeah. You have time to go get that fixed before you're closing. So you see, like, little things like that are brought up at the buyer's consultation because not a lot of people know. I didn't know.
It's not common knowledge, basically.
Yeah.
Because they think, oh, it's an ID. It's got my picture on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you're meeting with someone in the buyer's consultation, I'm guessing you guys discuss where they want to be area-wise, how many bedrooms, getting RV. What else do you guys kind of discuss? And what other questions do you ask buyers?
So it's funny because when I start off my presentation, I'm like, okay, after this presentation, we'll get to the fun part. It's going to be the boring part, but we'll get to the fun part where you tell me where you want to live, what it is that you're looking for in a house. And I always make sure to tell my buyers is the search that I'm doing for you right now, right here, and what I can do for you is more specific to your wants and needs, especially the type of loan that you're getting qualified for, versus you going on Zillow and typing 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, because maybe it's a flip and they're only taking conventional.
Or cash.
Your number one realtor. And it could only be like a conventional loan, right? And if they're FHA, they can't get that house, right? So little things like that, I always make sure to let my client know, like, right now we're being very specific to your needs and wants. And it just happened to me this week where I was doing a search for my client and they weren't liking none of the stuff that was popping up. But once again, I was doing it just how they wanted. Nothing less than the square footage, nothing less than something, year built, nothing less than 2005, and stuff like that, right? So then they send me a property, and I was like, why didn't that property, like, pop up? So you start thinking, and I started, like, looking into it, and I was like, well, it was a 2002. That's why it didn't pop up, because they told me 2005 and up, but this property popped up for them, and we just submitted an offer yesterday. If you're watching this, please accept my offer. Thanks.
So, of course, that's the good thing about working with you is, like you said, is like you get very specific on if they tell you, hey, I want a 4-bedroom or no less than 4 bedrooms, no less than this square footage. And then they start doing the Zillow searches and the Redfin searches because everyone, of course, when they're in home buying mode, they're looking at that. And like you said, and that was actually going to be my next question is, like you said, there's a lot of listings that either are expired, aren't on the market anymore, and like you said, they're either their financing isn't the type of financing your client has, so it could be conventional or cash financing or investors only.
Yep.
So of course, it's better, of course, when they sit down with you, you're more accurate in your searches, correct?
Yeah. Yes. And you know what's funny? That what I feel like, well, I don't know about others, but I get to know my client, and sometimes I'm like, I feel like they think like I'm lying to them, like maybe because, and it has happened to me with people that come and say, my realtor wasn't doing this, blah, blah, blah. Can you help me? And not that I defend the agent because I don't know what they're going through or what happened. You know, there's always two sides of the story, but I always let them know, well, hey, maybe it's the notes because there's notes that we can see that the consumer can't see. Oh, look at me using big words, consumer. It's all used wrong. No, pero I'm like, shh. But it has happened that way, right? Where there's notes in the properties like there's a tenant. Yeah, they're taking FHA. Yes, they're taking conventional, but there's a tenant and they're not leaving until 6-8 months from now. So now it kind of becomes more of an investment property than a first-time home buyer property. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of stuff that we can see when they send us a house because I've there's been a couple of times that I'm like, I feel like my client thinks like I don't want to show them the house. So then what I started doing is like I'll take a picture of the remarks that they can't see and send it to them because I don't want them to ever feel like, oh, she's probably too busy, doesn't want to show me the house. But it's like, no, this is what's going on with this property.
No,
like,
course.
Are you sure you still want to go?
And that's
see
something,
it?
like I said, you can't see that on Redfin or Zillow where you can see it where there's a tenant that won't be able to move out till X date. So you have to do some form of lease back or rent back. Or like you said, there's certain things on there that I remember, like I was looking at a property back when I was trying to buy an investment property in 2021. And it's the same thing as there were certain houses that I was looking at that had tenants in them, and the tenant had a contract till, let's say, 6 months after if I were to buy it. Then, and it's like a couple of the houses I walked into, and I was like, yeah, I don't want these people.
Exactly. Or solar, or it has solar, or even if it has tenants, like they need 48 hours for you to be able to show that house, right? I had a client and he called me, and every time he would call me, he would kind of tell me, I mean, he was completely honest with me that he was talking to other realtors and he was talking to other lenders, and he told me straight up, which I love his honesty. He said, whoever can show me the house find me the house, that's who I'm going to give my business to. And I said, I completely understand. But what he was doing is he'll be in front of a house that has a for sale sign, and then he wants us to show up right then and there. I'm like, hey, it doesn't work that way. If the house is vacant, yes, right? But if the house is owner occupied, we have to give them a heads up. We have to request the showings, right? I've even had clients, and this other client even told me, like, the other realtor that I was using would just give me the code to go inside. I was like, I didn't get that agent's number and name, but if not, I would have put it on right here. I'm just kidding.
You would have given us the cheese right here.
I would have given you guys the cheese, man, but I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not going to do that. The
Yeah,
house is
because
available.
that risks your license too, though.
Yeah. Like, the house is available at this time. Are you available? Then let's do it. And yeah, they were totally okay with it. But as soon as they told me, like, this other agent would give us the code to go inside the house and see it ourselves, I'm like, sorry, I don't work that way, you know? And then the other client, like, wanting to, whoever shows up, basically, that's who he was going to give his business to. I was like, no, pues, sorry.
Is there any red flags that buyers should look out to whenever talking to someone during a buyer consultation?
By someone, you mean like a realtor?
Yeah.
Red flags. What color is their hair? I'm just kidding. Because if they have a crazy color, then they're crazy. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Red flags. I can't answer that question without talking shit.
Well, do it. That's why you're here.
I'm all getting canceled. Red flags. I don't know.
You're already getting canceled next week, so might as well just get done and over with.
What are some red flags from the realtor, right?
If they make it all about themselves.
No, I don't want to talk shit. I'm nice. Next question.
All right. Give me some of your success stories when it comes to buyer consultations.
Ooh. I've always take every client to me as my babies and personal stories, right? Personal, how do you say it? Like, I take something personal. But I think the ones that I take, like,
To heart?
Yeah. The ones I take to heart would be, like, those who are living in a trailer park and are becoming homeowners. Like, to me,
you've been through that.
Yes. To me, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like, this is what it's all about. This is why I joined real estate, you know? So I love that. Obviously, every client is a success because they all have their struggles. Like, nobody's just ready to jump in. They have all this money and they're ready to jump and they find a house and everything works out perfect. Like, no, I can sit here and say every client has their struggles of what they go through to be able to become homeowners. My biggest one has been this client that I met her husband, actually. I met her husband at an open house and got in touch with the lender. Credit was really bad. And I think they worked on their credit, if I'm not mistaken, for 2 years. For 2 years, they were consistent. We kept following up. Like, something that we do at Beas Homes Group is if their credit is low, like, we don't give up. And that is the biggest complaint that I get from clients that come from other realtors is I told them my credit score, and they told me call them when my credit score was up. And
so there's no follow-up.
Yeah, and that's something that we don't do. We give you a game plan, and obviously we can't do it for you, right? But we will be calling you. How is it going? Have you made those payments? Where are we at? Has anything changed? You know, we are that team that will push you because, once again, when I bought, my credit score was bad. I mean, my credit score last year was just at a 496, and I am not embarrassed to say because shit. You know, like
It's all part of the process.
yeah, from a 496 to a 703, and I took a screenshot of that because I've never seen my credit score at a 700. I was like, let me take a screenshot. So because I've been there, because I've gone through all that process, like I don't want to give up on clients. You know. What was the question? Was there a question?
Just success stories. Just tell me about some of yours success stories with your buyer consultations.
Yeah, so that one that worked on her credit for the 2 years, and we stayed, and it was amazing when we closed because she was like, "Thank you for not giving up on us. Thank you for always calling us and reminding me to make my payments." Like she was the sweetest thing ever, and stuff like that is the reason I do what I do. You know, another crazy one. Have I told you any other crazy ones? That one's like my best one.
Can you think of any other ones?
That one. Babe. He knows all my stories. Have I told you any other ones?
I mean, you're a top producer, so I mean, you've got to have stories just coming out of your ears.
I know, but then there's cameras looking at me, and I'm scared. I forgot.
Well, why do you think of it? Why the move?
Oh, we're jumping to that.
Well, I mean, I want the full achievement today, so.
Is this off camera or on camera?
Both. We can talk about it more off camera if you want.
Wait, I'm going to forget about the stories. What other success stories have I had? My single mom.
Go for it.
Okay. You see how I can get into character and stuff? Your people are going to love me. They're going to be like, can you get that girl back?
This episode might not even air, but go for it.
This is for your own satisfaction of watching me be a dumbass. Another one that I can tell you about. Mira, te fijas? Like, Telemundo, I'm coming for you. Rosa de Guadalupe. Who does Rosa de Guadalupe? Telemundo or Univision?
I guess Telemundo.
Rosa de Guadalupe, call me 623-293-6902. I'm available anytime.
All right, so tell me about your single mom.
Oh, another one that I can tell you about is...
Let's go this way. You're not on the camera anymore.
Sorry. Okay. Another successful story has been single moms. I've helped a couple, my Spanish couple. Another story that I can tell you about is I've had a couple of single moms. Obviously, I used to be a single mom myself, so you see how like everything like
relates to you,
relates to me, and I take things personal.
The universe doesn't revolve around you, though. Do you know that? Right?
Well, it's not that, but like imagine like you know the struggle. I've been there. I've done that. I've been a single mom. I've had the low credit score. I had to sell my house to pay off debt for my credit score to go up. Like I've been through all of that. So guess what? I can guide you. And I know that if I went through it and I got through it, you can too. Oh my God, a motivational speech moment.
Calm down, Tony Robbins.
Wrong podcast, sorry. And I've helped a couple of single moms for sure. So that's also always a good thing. Well, an amazing thing because they're becoming homeowners, whether it's a house or a townhouse. It's an investment property and they're doing something for their kids on their own. So that's always something.
Awesome.
Yeah. Me thinking about other stories. I never once looked at that camera until I was like being dumb. Sorry.
So if someone wants to get a hold of you, where can they get a hold of you?
Phone number 62329.
Go for it.
If somebody wants to get a hold of me, the fastest way is always text message or call at 623-293-6902. We'll have Instagram, TikTok, email, YouTube, Pinterest. I'm just kidding.
MySpace.
Snapchat down below. You guys can follow us.
What was the one back in the day where it was like a journal? There was one back in the day too. Like we're on MySpace time. That it was like
Moco Space.
no, there was another one, but I don't know. I'll look it up.
I had MySpace. That's it. Then my page got hacked by one of my exes.
That's me.
Yeah, that's a story for another day. That's a story for another episode.
Well, Miss Iris, thank you for being on the show.
Of course.
I don't know if I'm going to air this show, but we'll figure it out once I edit it. But of course, guys, if you guys need anything from Iris or if you need anything from me to help you get a hold of Iris or any questions about the home buying process, of course, Iris is available. And then, of course, if you guys have any insurance needs or any insurance questions, of course, always reach out to us here at Green Planet.
I have a question.
Go for it.
But you asked me who I am and what I do. Like, what if you have new viewers and they don't know what you do? What do you do? Who are you?
This is my
since you said that the world doesn't revolve around me.
Ma'am, this is my show. I have a questions, not you. But I am Francisco Gonzalez. I am owner of Green Planet Insurance. We are an insurance agency here in Phoenix. We are an insurance broker. So, of course, instead of being able to only shop you with one company, we can shop you with multiple companies. We do homeowners, auto, investment properties, and life insurance. So if you guys ever need anything, of course, reach out to us. But Iris, thank you for taking over my show. We'll see if I air this, but thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody.